You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. All the many things you might have woken up today thinking you would see or read about. One headline I am quite certain we all thought we would not see today is something that reads, "I'm back, returning to college football, John Emery." How is that even possible? How is that even possible? First of all, I'll do the math. The post came from YPM Sports, which apparently is an agency that's an NIL agency representing John Emery. It was posted on Instagram earlier today and has since made its way around. That's YPM is Young Playmakers, sports agency. Okay, let's go through the math first, and then I'll give you a reaction. I'll explain exactly how this is possible. So, this will be John Emery's 7th season, okay? He signs in 2019 as a 5-star, number 1 running back in the country out of Destrehan, okay? And he plays in that freshman season at LSU in 10 games, okay? That was so he was a freshman on the national championship team with Burrow and the boys. So 2020, it's his sophomore year, and we know what happened. Emery had a pretty good season, played in 9 games, started 3 times, had a big game against Vanderbilt, but that was the COVID year, so it didn't count for anybody. 2021 was John Emery's academically ineligible season. Now, we learned later that when he graduated, he was able to petition the NCAA to regain that year of eligibility, which he was granted. So 2020 and 2021 effectively never happened. At this point, Brian Kelly's hired. It's 2022, and John Emery's played 1 of his 3 seasons of eligibility. And remember, you have 5 to play 4. So Emery, in Brian Kelly's first season, plays 11 games. Remember, he had the academic issue at the start of the season, but gets eligible, plays in 11 games, starts a couple of times, decides he's going to come back for a 5th season in 2023. He's having a pretty good season, but then tears his ACL against Florida. We all remember the play. Beautiful cut, a vintage John Emery play, went down, non-contact, and I think we all knew what it was at that time. And thinking at that point, his 5th season, all that he had been through, missing the year due to academics, the COVID season, now a torn ACL, it felt like that was going to be it. And then last offseason, John Emery announced that he was going to return for a 6th season. But it looked like he was going to go elsewhere. Remember, at one point, he had seemingly committed to UCLA. Well, the Trey Holly situation arose, and LSU was short a scholarship running back, and so Emery was afforded the opportunity to return to LSU, which he did. And actually had a pretty good game in the opener against USC, if you remember. Like, he was the guy in the 3rd quarter that kind of started to get going, wearing that 22 jersey. Remember, C.J. Daniels took his number 4. So, I mean, Emery came back and was wearing double deuce. And then he suffers a torn ACL in practice before the Week 2 game. That seemingly ended. Remember, Brian Kelly that week went on the Feinbaum show, and Feinbaum asked Brian Kelly about John Emery, about his future, and this is what Kelly said. Again, this was in September after the torn ACL.
You know, I think he's at a place in his life now that he knows that he can do things outside of football. I think that's what the trap is here, Paul, is that many of these young men sometimes didn't know that they could do things outside of just football. And that's a shame, right? I mean, I think building an identity outside of football with these young men is so crucial when you come into football programs. And we've done that. And John knows that he has a life outside of football. Is he disappointed? Absolutely. We're crushed for him. But he knows he has a life outside of football, and now he's going to be working towards that.
So that was Brian Kelly in September. saying John Emery is working toward a life outside of football, seemingly ending his career. Well, if you follow John on social media, he's been posting a lot of rehab videos, and then today that news drops here on Thursday that he's going to return for a 7th season. So again, the math, he played in 2019, that's 1 year. 2020 COVID, 2021 academics, didn't count. He plays in 2022 his 2nd year. He plays in 2023 his 3rd year. That's when he suffered the torn ACL. So he had another year of eligibility that he regained because of the academic suspension. So he comes back in 2024, but ultimately plays only 1 game. So he still has a redshirt year he hasn't used. So effectively, last year ends up being his redshirt year, and now this will be his 4th season, being that 2020 and 2021 didn't count, and 2024 ends up being his redshirt year. Hence, now 2025 can be John Emery's 7th year, but the 4th year of eligibility for him. So, listen, let me be very clear. I am a fan of John Emery's. And I don't mean like I love the way that he runs and cuts and all that stuff, and he's a 5-star from Louisiana who picked LSU. I mean, I'm a fan of this person. I can't say that I know John Emery well, just in the way that you would if you cover an athlete sort of from a close proximity. But John Emery is the epitome of perseverance, and I will always salute him. If I had $1 for every time a college football fan in the NIL transfer portal era, droned on about loyalty and commitment, and they're all in it for the money, and nobody cares about the education anymore. Yo, this guy is the beacon light to contrast that. This dude, school was hard for this guy. He was academically suspended for an entire season. He missed games at the beginning of 2022 because of academic suspension as well. At any point, John Emery could have left and gone to the NFL. Tried his hand at pro ball. Just said, you know what? Had some tough luck. Didn't go great. I'm going to go play pro ball, try my hand at that. And what does he do? He keeps coming back, and last year he graduated. You want to know how big of a deal it was? When John Emery walked across the stage as an LSU graduate, Frank Wilson took a picture and tweeted, "This one right here hits different. You did it, John Emery. Congratulations, sir. Mission accomplished." And it was a picture of John Emery walking across the stage as an LSU graduate. That's a young dude. That's a young dude that was a 5-star, number 1 running back, probably thought 3 years into the league. That 3rd year, he was suspended academically, could have left at that point, didn't, came back, and has battled his way through, not only on the field through injuries, but also in the classroom to walk across that stage and get a degree. And now, with degree in hand, he could go anywhere he wants in the world to go start his professional career, do what he wants. And instead, what he's going to do is come play a 7th college football season. I don't know where that's going to be, but I'll be rooting for him wherever it is. You might think LSU. I don't know that that's in the cards. I don't know that LSU has a scholarship available. And when you look at the running back depth, Caden Durham was a 1,000-yard rusher as a freshman. He's back. Caleb Jackson is back. Harlem Berry's coming in as a 5-star. You got JT Lindsey coming in June. And then there's the Trey Holly situation, which is expected to be adjudicated in July. If he's cleared, then Trey Holly's back. That's 5 scholarship running backs. Where does John Emery fit in, coming off back-to-back ACLs in his 7th season? Oh, by the way, you also use Juwan Johnson and Xavion Thomas in the running game as well. So it's probably not in the cards for John Emery to come back to LSU. But if that dude wants to just go put on a helmet, some shoulder pads, and play another season of college football because he loves it and wants to have the sense of what it would be like to go play a full season and give it his all before he walks away, God bless him, I'll pull for him wherever he is. So John Emery's going to play a 7th college football season. I'm sure some people got jokes. I've already seen it on Twitter. You ain't going to hear that out of me. All you're going to hear is respect and praise for that dude because he has battled through a ton to get to this point. And if he wants to come through a 2nd consecutive ACL to come back and play another college season to give it a go with a degree in hand and maybe work on a master's, God bless you, kid. Go get it. You have my support. John Emery's going to play a 7th college football season. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.